Good afternoon, everybody. How are you all today? I hope you're well. Me? Yes, I am. Thank you. Thank you for asking. What a great start to today. I was planning to have a whole day in the garden. Well, a whole day. But this morning we've been having loads of rain showers. And it hasn't been raining in Paris. You know what that means, of course. So I stayed at home this morning to work with tennis for company. Brilliant. As I left, Simona Halep was getting walloped. She's a good comeback queen though. Enough of the tennis. So, because my day has been truncated, let me just have a look at the time. It's 1 o'clock. Yeah, it's a slightly truncated day. So I'm not going to be able to do everything that I was planning to do, but my priority today, as I mentioned the other day, is build that cucumber frame, get the cucumbers in. Once they're in the front, I'll get the peppers in. Yay! If there's time after all that, I've got a few other bits and pieces to do which I'd like to show you. If not, just have to wait for another day, won't it? Yeah, it's definitely... I definitely feel like I'm beginning to catch up, which is great. And I think once that bed's done today, I've got 2 more main biggish jobs. Yeah, they're going to just have to wait till next week. Time. Where does time go? Anyway, yeah, so at least I am feeling a little bit more on top of things. I'm still ignoring weeds, as I mentioned the other day. They're just not a priority at the moment. But I will look forward to a day, I don't know, probably in another week or so of, I don't know whether to do it on a weekday to be on my own or at the weekend when there are other folk around. Probably on a weekday. Just come down here in the peace and quiet and spend the whole day, well, it won't take the whole day, but spend the whole day weeding. Just going nice and slowly, no hurry, taking time to listen to the birds, taking time to enjoy the breeze on my skin, all that sort of thing. Brilliant. Yeah, so we had that rain this morning. Literally it finished about half an hour ago. So as soon as it stopped, I thought, right, get to the garden. What's amazing is, on getting here, it doesn't actually look like it's rained. We really, really need a good proper soaking, but we're due one tomorrow. Let's see if it finally happens. I'm losing faith in the Met Office. We've been promised rain for weeks and weeks and weeks, and it hasn't materialised. Anyway, just before I go into the garden, I'd love to say a thank you to Penny. Penny, thank you so much. Penny's in, I think it was Vancouver, over in Canada. She sent me an early birthday card, bless you Penny, with some seeds. And what I love, because they've come from Canada, they're bilingual. So I love any opportunity to practice my French. So I shall be sowing these pansies, pensées, in French. I think, aren't they lovely? They're supposed to be giant pansies. Cute. So I think I'm probably too late for them this year, because normally they'd be flowering from now through till the first frost. Not to worry, it's something lovely to add to the collection to sow for next year, and if they come to anything I can dot them around in the herb bed, in the really sort of low planted bit of the herb bed towards the front, or in the little trough outside my shed door. Either way, I will enjoy putting them somewhere. So thank you very much. I was going to say Jenny, it's not Jenny, it's Penny. Thank you so much, Penny. That's really sweet of you. Right, let's start building a cucumber frame. Gosh, it's a blustery day. I hope you're going to be able to hear. Okay, so the very first time I did a cucumber frame, it's so blustery. I just had it sort of at a very gentle pitch. But then a couple of years ago, I wanted some extra space. It was the first time I was doing peppers. I wanted this space, so I took it up to a higher pitch. And then it occurred to me, well, if they can go up, you know, if the squash can go up teepees, if things can go up my fence or whatever, they should be able to go up a much more vertical bit of a frame. So, these days, I'll bring you to the side so you can see the angle that they will eventually be at. But yeah, these days I give them a much steeper angle, maybe, probably less than 45 degrees even. So I put a post in the back. Let's do my 4 back posts. Let's just get them spaced out first. Wrong way up. There's always a thick end and always a thin end, isn't there? Once these are all in place, there'll be a bit of sort of dead space, as it were, just immediately under the frame. I did try, a couple of years or so ago to use that space to grow some salad leaves in, because I thought, you know, they'll be happy with the shade, it'll help them to, well, stop them from bolting. But actually, it just didn't work. So what I would do with these today is, go on, get in. Just that little area underneath at the back, I will put the cardboard back. Some of these canes are pretty old now, and I do get a bit nervous shoving them in the ground. I just always expecting them to snap. So this one is going to be, it's probably only about 10 inches in front of the back one. Let's get the angle sort of right. Yeah, go on. Yeah, desperately looking for the strongest looking canes. Oh, that's the fat end. The fat end's got the, can you see that? That's a blob of baby bell wax from last year. Ooh! It's windy, but I've got to say, it's beautifully fresh. I'm going to give you a little sideways look so you can see what I mean about this pitch. Yeah, so not too far ahead of it. The other thing I found doing this over, this must be, I think, my 4th year with cutes. So my 3rd year with a steeper frame is, I'm going to go a little bit higher this year, because each year I increase the height a little bit and they still end up going over the top. So you can see it's actually not much. Like I say, it's only about maybe 15 centimetres, 8, 9, 10 inches or so. So now I'll just get all the tops lashed together, and then I can start lashing more canes across all these lengths, and basically I'm aiming to build almost like a ladder coming all the way up. And then what I found over the years as well is, as the fruits hang down, they tend to hang down on this side at the back. So as I'm watering in from the back, I see my little fruits hanging down, and like, oh yeah, I'll have that one for my tea, thank you very much. Okay, well, it's going to take me a while to do all my stringing and knotting, etc, etc. I won't keep you hanging around for all that, but I'll show it to you once I've finished it. Right, well, There it is, done. Ding, 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 ding. Cucumber ladder. Yay! So I reckon, it's probably taken about 45 minutes to do that, but well worth the time in terms of the space saving, because if you look at it, if you think about its footprint there, I've got all, where's my finger gone, it's so bright, I've got all this space in front for planting my peppers. So if you've got some cucumbers waiting to go into the ground and you've never tried growing them like this before, yeah, well worth giving it a go. Hopefully they'll soon romp away, and like I said, like with all our vertical growing, it just increases our space massively. Oh, I can't wait to get these ones in. They're desperate to get going. They're flowering already. Slow down, you guys. Wait until you're in the soil. Oh, gorgeous breeze. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Right, let's get this little lot. Let's get their toes into the ground. I just can't get over this week how good it has felt to be just getting everything in the ground. Yay, I'm chuffed. So, we'll have to just persevere a little bit with this gusty, windy weather today. I've got to say, I love this kind of weather. We have moments of, like we're getting again now, this real beautiful brightness, and the clouds skid over and we get a little bit of reprieve with a bit of shadow. The wind is whipping around and it's so fresh. I almost feel like I'm in my grandparents' garden, high up on the down above the cliffs down in Dorset. Oh, it's gorgeous. Now, before I wax too lyrical, let's get these cucumbers in. So this variety, just like close, oh, you see that? Oh, beautiful, isn't it? This variety is long green Maracha. I had the seeds originally about 6 years ago from France, and since then I've been saving my own seed. It's dead easy in terms of seed saving. I'll come to that at the end of the season and I will show you. I'll remember to show you, I hope. But basically I always select a really beautiful, healthy looking cucumber and I leave it on the vine for as long as possible till it's almost rotting on the vine. It will go yellow, it goes a bit soft, and then eventually I bring it home, slice it in half, by which stage the insides will have gone really runny, and I just slither all the seeds out into a jar and use the fermentation method to get them clean. Then I dry them and then I put them away and then I sow them the next year. Now the great thing about long green Maracha, it's probably pronounced something like maraîchère in France. I can't remember the pronunciation. Oh, here comes that shadow again. But yeah, it's something like vert long maraîchère. Anyway, the great thing about it is it's specifically for growing outdoors. So if you've never grown cucumbers before and you don't have a greenhouse, when you're selecting your seed, just make sure it is one that's suitable for growing outside. All of the varieties you see me planting and talking about, whether it's the tomatoes, the peppers, the cukes, what have you, they're obviously all suited to be grown outside, because I grow outside because I don't have a greenhouse. Yay, right, let's get stuck in. So I'm preparing a hole for it in much the same way, whoopla, as I've done for all the squash, because I've got a bit of this compost and chicken poo mix left over. That should give them a really nice start. And exactly like with the squash, just make sure you don't get their stalk lower than the level that it was at in the pot. So pop it in there, and I can't help but wonder when I get it in, how many days will it take to reach the first rung of the ladder? I have to say, it always seems to take forever to get to the first rung, and then I come back one day, oh, and it's on the fourth rung, brilliant. And then next to it, can you see from there? Yes, you can. Next to it, I'm going to plant a plant pot. This is for watering. because again, just like with the squash, they don't really like, they're not going to appreciate you wetting their stems. So I'm going to put it next to it but slightly behind, and then the idea being is that on hot days when I'm having to water, I can just come in from behind, so I can go down that path, come in under the ladder, water it from behind without wetting its stem, and also without having to sort of wade through all the peppers at the front. Last year I had them slightly more to the side, and I was forever foraging for the pots, for the watering pots. So that's why I'm doing it this way this year. Now, space-wise, look at that one. These are crazily ready. Oh, and I should have said as well, in terms of sowing times, I started these indoors it must have been, I should have brought my notebook, it must have been about end of March, I think it was. So at the same time as the squash indoors. And in terms of spacing, again, I'm a bit stingy with my spacing. I don't know what the books say. Invariably, the books will probably say a bigger space than me. But I'm getting mine. They're about a hand span apart. So sort of somewhere between... I keep sucking up dust as I breathe. I'm a mouth breather. I'm taking in gulps of dusty soil. Yeah, sorry. They're... what was I saying? Sorry. Yeah, about 8 to 10 centimetres apart. And again, because they're going up, they shouldn't be battling for space between each other too much. I think what I'll do for now, I'm going to concentrate on get them in, and then I'll go behind to plant all the watering plant pots. I think that's going to be ergonomically more sensible. And we're always looking for ways to be ergonomically sensible in the garden, aren't we? Now, just like with the squash as well, and with that sort of tenderness and delicateness of the stems, I don't want them flapping around in the wind. But obviously, like my hair, because they haven't reached the first step on the ladder yet, what I'll do is I'll tie some string to the bottom rung of the ladder, and then I'll just loop it down gently around each plant, just to give it a little bit of support until they properly get going. Oh my goodness, guys, I can't tell you how much just these last few days, I think at the beginning of the week it was all feeling a bit of not a panic as such, but it was feeling like a pressure to get on with things. And I certainly hadn't planned to be in the garden on 2 of the days that I've been this week. But honestly, the feeling it gives me, this joy of just getting the beautiful plants in the soil, knowing that I'm giving them the best start, knowing that they're going to hopefully really start to get going now. You just can't beat it. It's got to be one of the best feelings, certainly in my little world. Hurrah! Okay, so I'm going to carry on getting these in, get their pots in, and then we'll come back and we'll start getting some peppers in. And I'm going to try something slightly new this year with the peppers. Yay! Time to play with the peppers. Oh my goodness. Still so excited. I haven't yet put the watering pots in for the cukes because I'm just too excited to do some more planting. The cukes are all tied now, and as you can see, there's maybe about 5 of them which are actually up to the first rung of the ladder. I was thinking it's like an advent calendar, isn't it? But climbing the rungs. Anyway, sorry, back to the peppers. So this is a lovely variety called Orange Bell. I originally had the seed from the Real Seed Company about 3 years ago, I think it was. But since then, I've been saving all my own seed. And with peppers, it could not be more easy. I will try to remember to show you when the time comes, but in case I forget, I'll explain now. You imagine, or let's just use a pot for now. You imagine that's your pepper, and when you come to cook with it, you slice the top off, and then you run your knife around on the inside, to release that sort of core where the seeds are. Pull that seedy core out, and then literally just put it on a saucer. I put mine in the front window where it's sunny and warm, and I just let them dry on that core. And then after a couple of weeks or so, very easy, just rub all the seeds off, make sure they're good and dry, put them in an envelope, same for the next year, sow them again. And on that subject, I was thinking about this whole bed, apart from the 8 Waltham butternuts I've put in, that packet cost me, I think it was about £2.20, £2.50. But this whole bed, so all those tomatoes, that's 32 tomatoes, this trench of beans on the side of this bed, that's all save seed. The tomatoes are all my save seed. The cukes are all my save seed. The peppers are all my save seed. So all this masses and masses of food that I'm going to get out of this bed this year for £2.50. Brilliant, isn't it? So yeah, so the thing about Orange Bell that makes them a bit special, they were, I don't know how long ago, it's a new-ish variety. They were developed by the Real Seed Company over in, I think it's in West Wales, and they were specifically developed for outdoor growers, which of course, that's what I am. You all know by now I don't have a greenhouse. Yeah, and they've worked perfectly well for me over the couple of years, 3 years or so that I've been growing them. They come quite late in the season, so it's funny actually, I was just talking to Gary as he was going past, and I was saying, wouldn't it be perfect if the peppers, the cukes, the tomatoes and the red onions all came at the same time, but they never do. But that's fine, because what I've done with mine, I think the harvesters come towards the end of September. I have a couple of them fresh, gorgeous, but then the rest I've just chopped up and frozen, which works perfectly well. And then, do you know what? I'm sitting on an ant. I've been bitten on my upper thigh. Yeah, they work perfectly well from frozen to add to soups and stews and things over the winter. They're all going to get a steak and a tie because they are a bit top heavy and floppy. Now, I was saying about having a bit of an experiment. Right at that end, well, I've got one that's looking a bit sickly, one that's looking okay. Oh, scratching my backside, sorry. So I've read in a couple of sort of reports that they grow really well when they're grown as a pair, that they seem to sort of help each other. I don't know how true it is, so I thought, well, let's give it a go down at that end with a couple of sort of, I couldn't squish any more in on the line. I actually grew quite a few more, but they were grown specifically for my neighbours that way, so yeah, so let's see how that goes. The other thing I'm thinking of doing this year, although I'm always so nervous just in case something doesn't work, is to pinch out the top. And so apparently, if I pinch out the top, what that will do, that growing stem will bifurcate, and I'll end up with 2 growing stems. And in theory, I could nip both of those. Both of those will again bifurcate, so I'd end up with 4 growing stems. And in theory, if I've got 4 growing stems, that's 4 times more fruit than if I just had 1 growing stem. I only read that once. I can't remember where I read it. I wish I could, because I'd like to reread it. So, like I say, I like trying new things. I'm up for that completely. Although I'm obviously a little bit nervous and I don't want to lose what I've got. Oh, my bum is itching. I'm sorry. I'm going to have a scratch with fingernails. Oh, blessed ants. That's the only problem with when you sit on the floor, but I'm so comfy on the floor. Anyway, yeah, sorry. It is a bit of a risk, obviously, to do something new, because what if it doesn't work and I lose the lot? Well, that's why I'm going to give it a go on maybe a couple. We'll see how it goes this year, and if it's a good result, replicate it next year. Next year already. Oh, I think there's something in all of us gardeners where, you know, there is so much of the time when we are really, really thoroughly in the moment in our gardens, just being utterly present. But there are also quite a few times when we're either looking back on a previous year or looking forward to the next year. Oh. Anyway, right, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and then that little cluster, 14, 15, to get in. It shouldn't take me too long. I'll get them all in, and then although they've all had, as soon as I got to the allotment earlier on, I filled up the trays that they were sitting in with a good amount of water, so they've all had a good drink. But I'll get them in, get them watered, get the cuke pots in, and then think about the next bit of fun I can have out here today. Love it. Oh, sorry, worm. Oh, lots of little worms. Sorry, guys, I'll put you back. Oh, what's going on down here? This is a bit of a tricky path, so I may stumble, but our lovely Kai is out and about in the garden today working. I'm sure I've mentioned before that Kai's a photographer. Look at this beautiful camera, it's gorgeous. So you're doing oh, I'm going to fall. You're doing portraits of the gardens today, Kai?
Yeah.
This... Hang on a second. Sheena, you're not allowed to speak or
move your head too much.
Don't move, don't move.
Is it happening? Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, now this isn't...
Because it's pinhole, you'll get a nice blur if you keep moving.
So it's a really, really old style of camera, except in terms of pinhole and its style, except this is a beautiful modern build. Sugar! Oh, God, I'm so sorry. Has that wrecked it?
It might. No, we've got a minute and a half.
Booted it. I'm so clumsy. But look, I just want to show you the camera. Isn't it beautiful? So it's made from wood and fabric, and here in the back
it's called an Intrepid.
An Intrepid, and here in the back goes the plate. What an absolute thing of beauty. Oh, Kai, I'm so sorry. I just wellied it.
Well, I can catch you again. You'll be in trouble.
like Kai is so pressured for time. She's grabbed this opportunity and I've wrecked it. Well, listen, I'm going to leave you to it. Is Sheena still standing still? Don't look at me, Sheena. Don't look at me. Don't look at me. Don't look at me. It's going to be lovely. Sheena and her artichoke and her compost pile.
I know, it's lovely.
The perfect image, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, what a happy and satisfying sight. The whole of bed number 1 is now planted. Tomatoes, squash, cucumbers, peppers. Oh, love it. I have just thought actually though that because, oh my goodness, we're so bright suddenly again. Beautiful. Because I've put the pots at the back here instead of to the side as I've done in previous years, it's going to be a bit tricky for me to get this covered in cardboard. So I'll have some cardboard. I'll have to do some little cutouts for the watering holes. But you can see now what I meant about doing it that way for watering. Here's my path. I'll be watering my squash, slosh into their bottles, and I can turn around and just slosh into my cukes, and then that means that hopefully if my peppers get beautifully big and strong, I won't have to bash through them to get to the cukes to water them. Oh, I'm so happy. So very, very happy. Grow well, grow well. Right, well I think, oh, do you know what, I'm just going to plonk myself down for a second. You're coming around with me. Oh, hold on while I get on the floor. Wobble, wobble. Next to my lily. Gosh, it's so bright. So I'm going to go and back to Kai in a second and do a portrait. If I can sit still for 3 or 4 minutes, keep my mouth shut. So I'm going to wrap things up there for now, because actually I've still got loads more to do. I'm aware though that this video is going to end up being 5 hours long if I don't stop now. So I'll carry on, and then whatever I do, I'll just put into another video. So for now, from a very, very happy Vivi to get stuff in the ground, it's cheerio. Stay well until I see you next time, which will be really soon, I think, because there's so much going on. But yeah, get out to your gardens, get planting, have fun, and just make the most of this gorgeous weather while we can. Bye for now.